Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, April 19th. It is time to get in the weeds. SV3, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate you've been here all week. We appreciate it. You excited? You ready?
I thought this was a joke. I didn't think you were absolutely serious. This is a professional wrestling podcast. In the name of Joel Pearl, this is ridiculous. Like, what was that opening? Seriously? Seriously?
Do you want me to play it again?
It looked like the opening of Seventh Heaven.
I do not do professional wrestling podcasts, so you should have known better than that.
No, this isn't. I've told everybody this is going to be the Taylor Swift review podcast. We're not talking about wrestling.
So we have AEW Dynasty on Sunday. We have TNA Rebellion tomorrow night. We have all this wrestling to talk about with AEW Dynamite this past week. An actual good show. It's too bad that the people were watching last week and not this week. But we could have talked about that as well. Tony Khan actually answering the question of if he would step down as AEW Booker. The short form of that answer is no. He was basically saying no, but he said it in a long way. But we had all this to talk about, and you want to talk about some white lady complaining about love for 3 hours. Congratulations. I respect both Cher and Jeremy's happiness, so I will respectfully be removing myself from this conversation. Congratulations. Call me when you want to talk about professional wrestling, X-Men 97, The Challenge, Power, BMF. I can talk about anything except for Seventh Heaven white people music. Sorry.
You know, as a white lady who complains about love for hours on end, I'm a little offended.
Cher Delaware, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me on this special episode of In the Weeds. Look, if people thought I was joking, I don't think you know me that well.
I don't know why they would think you were joking. I'm very tired. And as I told you before we went on, I don't have any power in my house.
Yeah, your power went out. Taylor Swift blew the power out in Delaware.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't have any power. So I'm supposed to be working right now. So I guess it's good timing.
This is work. I mean, let's be honest. This is all work. Taylor Swift released the new album last night, The Tortured Poets Department. Released it at midnight, and then at 2 a.m. released 15 more tracks.
Yeah.
The anthology edition. So I thought this album was going to be, I think everyone thought it was going to be the Joe Alwyn album. That's what I thought it was going to be. It is a little bit, but it's also that Matt Healy guy, a lot of him. And it's also just a nervous, depressive, anxiety breakdown.
It
album.
Really is.
It's a very depressing album. It's very good. I think
lyrically, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I think it is a mix of. It's got the Midnights. It's the Midnight sound with the Folklore Evermore writing.
Just a little bit slower than like the Midnights music.
Yeah.
Because everything's pretty slow. But
it's got the big synthetic drums and bangers.
Yeah.
On there.
I'm not really like a folklore girl.
Oh.
Like I will go back and listen to some of the music, but when it came out, it wasn't like at a time where I related to a lot of the folklore stuff. So I'm like, okay, this one is just depression. Like it just wants you to be depressed. And I told you I didn't listen to the second half when it came out it was 1:00 this morning for me, because I was like, no, I'm in such a bad mood because I'm so tired and I can't fall asleep. And I don't need to listen to music that's going to make me cry. I cry enough. I don't need added reasons to cry right now, honestly. So
Guys, I guess I should do like plugs and stuff. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Leave a super chat if you were like, look, I said it in the Discord. I will say it right here. It's not a rib. It's not a joke. We're going to talk about the Taylor Swift album for at least the first hour of this show. If you do not want to be part of the discussion, I completely understand. I get it. I'm not going to hold it against you. If you want to leave, if you want to come back in an hour, maybe we'll be talking about wrestling. We're probably actually going to be talking about X-Men 97 and the challenge. My goal was to do no wrestling talk on this show today because, even though it's a big weekend in the world of wrestling, I don't really care about all of that. I care about the Taylor Swift album. I care about the NHL playoffs, and I care about the NBA playoffs. That's what I care about this weekend.
And I'm going to be at the pay-per-view, and I don't care about it. I can't hear you.
Going to the pay-per-view. Well,
Yeah.
Have fun. I'll be watching. I'm trying to get Tony Khan to move the pay-per-view so I can watch the Avs and the Thunder. He's not responded to my many requests to move.
I will watch it on my phone, and then Dax can come up and yell at me for watching hockey on my phone, and I'll be like, I've seen this match 15 times. I don't know what you want me to do.
I've got multiple screens. I'll maybe pay attention to the pay-per-view, but I'm going to be paying attention to the playoffs. I'm going to be listening to the album. So she released the album at midnight, and then I listened to the first portion of it, and then at like 1:30, I was listening to the more of the first portion, and then I saw that the countdown was for 2:00. I was like, I got to stay up for this. And then the second portion of the album came out. I actually like the second half better. It's more in the Folklore Evermore like style of songwriting, where I don't know if it's going to be, or I don't know if it's like fully on her life. Like you can tell the first portion with the songs, you can tell what's about her life and everything.
Where the other ones are kind of her telling a story.
Yeah. That's why I actually like kind of prefer the second half of the album. Not that the first album is bad, but the second portion. So the song that pops me the most is "Thank You, Amy."
Oh my God. I love that song. So I love how she turned it into her being like her childhood bully. Yeah. Like high school bully, because like I related to that part, especially like the spray tan. Like, yeah, I had girls that live in my town still who were that way in high school. So when I started listening to it, like that's what I was thinking of. And I didn't realize the way that the title of the song was spelled, because I was just listening to it, not paying attention. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's about Kim. This makes so much more sense now. And then the spray tan thing made me laugh, because anybody who's ever seen like anything about Keeping Up with the Kardashians or whatever, Kim's hands are always like pale, the palms of her hands, but the rest of her is all tan from her spray tans. That girl is not a tan person. She is like my shade, but she does not you can put lotion on your hands to make the bottom of your hands tan too, and she does not do that. So then her hands are always white, but everything else is tan. So that made me laugh that she threw in that. But that song is hilarious when she says like the part about I changed your name just enough so only you and me and your daughter will come home singing this.
Oh, that killed me when she's hilarious. Like, your daughter's gonna sing this song. And I mean, maybe she'll know, maybe everybody will know. She doesn't hide it well with the title, obviously.
Right.
It gives it away there. But your daughter's gonna sing this. We'll both know. And it's going to bite at you every single time that I'm just going to make this hit song that everyone's going to sing, including your children. And you're going to know it's about you and how you fucked up my life, but also helped my life. Amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. I love the lyrics and just the I guess the guitar string in it as well. It was so good. Yeah, a lot of people are like, this isn't wrestling. You guys want to talk about petty? This is the most petty woman in the world. I respect it. She She is out here making songs about Kim Kardashian and relating it to being a high school bully and saying like, yeah, your kid's going to know this. Your kid's going to sing this in front of you and it's just going to eat at you every single time.
And it's so funny because like Taylor is best friends with Ice Spice, and there was a video last year of Kim's oldest daughter, who I like their kids. I'm not going to name her children on here. Everybody knows what her kids' names are, but Kim's oldest daughter dressed up as Ice Spice. Like she's a huge Ice Spice fan. So that I'm like, like it made me laugh. I'm going to turn this and see if maybe I can get some window light here because this is rough. Okay. I've got a Colorado shirt on, so I'm an Avs fan now, apparently.
Respect. Taylor would have definitely played the Punk and Perry footage.
Absolutely.
Easily. Yes. I absolutely, when I heard that song, I was cackling.
Oh,
just cackling.
I listened to it again after I dropped the kids off at school this morning, and I was like, this is fantastic.
I've not been able, so like the kids knew I was staying up until midnight to listen to this thing, and of course, like, can we stay up? Can we stay up? I was like, no, you got school tomorrow. And then like listening to it, I'm like, shit, I don't know if I could play this in the car. I just don't know if I can.
I was thinking that too, and like I typically listen to Pandora. And Pandora has like, you know, the explicit and the clean versions. But a lot of time the clean versions are like not super clean. Like,
yeah.
So I'm like, ugh. But they did listen to, oh God, which one was it? Who's Afraid of Little Old Me in the car with me on the way to school. Because since Sirius got Channel 13 as Taylor channel like 2 weeks ago, that's all we've listened to. So it was on this morning and they did listen to that one. And my oldest, they've been asking me for like a week, how many days until Taylor's new album comes out? How many? Because they know like that's all they're going to listen to. And so I told him, I was like, there's 31 songs. And he was like, well, that's because you're 31 years old. I'm like, thank you. I'm glad you related it to that. You're correct. That's exactly why it is.
Caden says Blondie did it again. She did. What was your favorite track from the first half of the album?
I think it's Who's Afraid of Little Me. I think I really liked that song, and just the way that it like builds into the chorus and everything. I really liked that song a lot.
That song, I like that she calls out her fan base. She calls out the Swifties. She calls out us. She calls out the Swifties in this one of just like, hey, like, you know, I'm going to live my life and you guys maybe don't take it all. Maybe don't take it all so personally. Sorry, the wife is sending me a message. She just says, why is the spelling of thank you, Amy, about Kim? I'm telling you, it's about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. So I always do a thread whenever a new album from Taylor comes out to like give my thoughts on each song as I listen to it. And it's funny because I remember when Midnights came out and we like had the same conversation. And I said that I wasn't a big fan of Maroon the first time I heard it. And now it is one of my favorite songs on that album. I listen to that song all the time. And so I always am like, you know, first listen, maybe not a huge fan of it, but, you know, I'll always go back and listen to it again and we'll see, because it might be something that I like more later. Some of the lines in some of these songs had me just cackling laughing. Like, she was on her freaking petty shit when she was writing these. In the Tortured Poets department, which is about Maddie Healy, I think everybody figured that one out pretty freaking quickly. But when she said you smoked then ate 7 bars of chocolate, I was like, what? I'm like, that is very relatable because I've seen this happen many times. And she had a lot of, usually when she talks about a past relationship, it is about the way that she felt coming out of it. She does a lot of digs personally at the men that she talks about in this one, like talks a lot about his drug habit and things like that. And I'm like, good for you, girl. Like, go for it.
I feel like that when she talks about that stuff, it feels like it's about Healy. But
yes.
but the smoking stuff, I feel like she and Joe Alwyn just got high all the time. Because even on like
Yeah, that's
Lover,
true too.
she talked about getting high a lot.
Yeah.
With hanging with him and his friends.
The rest of that song, though, there was some references that made me think it was about Maddie Healy. I did post about it earlier. Like, there are people who, when the songs come out, they don't even like enjoy the music because they're too busy worrying about who every single song is about.
Yeah.
And they're like, let me pull out all the clues. And like, he listened to this album in 1995. So it's obviously about him. And I'm like, I will listen to songs now and be like, oh yeah, I remember that one is about Taylor Lautner, like Back to December, you know, like there's some that I just always will automatically be like, oh yeah, that's about Dear John. That one was pretty freaking obvious, but I'm never like obsessing over who it's about because like that's her life. Like she said, like you said about her calling out the Swifties because they get so obsessed with her life. Like that is her life. That is her relationships. And I said earlier, like, I'm not listening to a song thinking about someone else's relationship when I'm listening to it. You're relating it to your own life and to your own experiences. And somebody was like, yeah, but she wrote it about her life. Well, no shit. Somebody writes every song about their life or their experiences. Like, I'm not going to sit around and be like, man, I remember when she dated Maddie Healy for a month in 2023. Like, no, I don't care. I'm thinking about like lyrically how it relates to my own life. And I'm not obsessing over how it, you know, how it related to her. She's not right. She's writing the music as in a cathartic way for her, but she's writing it for other people too. Like I don't know why people can't. It's mostly like the teenage Swifties who can't get past that. But yeah, we got a song about Travis Kelce. So I mean,
a few songs about Travis Kelce.
I like The Alchemy. That one was good.
Yeah, definitely The Alchemy and So High School. So
yeah,
seems very much like Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Auntie Collins says I haven't listened yet, but support this duo. Appreciate you, Auntie Collins. Everybody watch Wrestling Made Me Cry on Sunday. They'll talk about wrestling because we're not doing that here on this show. I'm with you. Like when I listen to the song, I know who it's about, or you can pick up the clues and everything. But I don't really care about it. Like I'm just like, sure, if that's what it's about. But like I listen to the songs and I just enjoy the music instead of obsessing over who this is actually about. I think it's hilarious when I like know who it is about.
When you can listen to it and immediately you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely like, I mean, she had so many UK references because they're both from there. Like of course that's why. But somebody was like, well, I mean, obviously the whole album is about the UK. She has a song called Florida. Like, what are you talking about?
That song rules, by the way. Big fan of Florence and the Machine. So
Me too.
Florence
and
Welch
I didn't
being
realize
on there.
I was in bed and I wasn't looking at it and I didn't realize that was the song that they were on. And as soon as like her voice started, I was like, oh yes, like I really like that song. That song was good.
She has like a big role. Like a lot of Taylor features, sometimes it'll just be like back, like Post Malone. Like if Post Malone's not on that song, you're like, all right, it's not missing too much. Like he adds a little bit, but a lot of features are just like sort of you're just at the chorus or you just do kind of a background singing. Like she actually has a whole verse and part of the chorus, which is nice to hear. And then when the drum kicks in, like, oh my gosh, like that thing's it feels like, again, it's very much like Midnights with the Folklore Evermore writing. It feels like when she did the Eras tour, she heard how good the Evermore Folklore song sounded in the stadium and was like, oh, what if I do those songs but add the big stadium sounds
Yeah.
as far as like the what's the word I'm looking for here? Just with the drums, the music overall. Like, what if we had the big stadium sounds for that to ring out through the stadium? And that's basically what she did in this album.
Yeah, truly. I just found out a tree fell. That's why we have no power over here.
How are you doing this show?
Because my iPad I have data. Like it's through Verizon. So,
fair.
Yeah, because we're in the car so much that when I got the boys' iPads, it's like $10 a month for them to have data on there so that they can watch them in the car. And then when I got mine, I was like, well, I use mine when I travel because I've traveled so much in the last year. I haven't flown since last May. So, but apparently they're out there trying to fix it. So this is really going to screw up my work day.
Clara Bow, which is basically about they are just going to find a new star, latch on, compare, toss it away. The you look like Taylor Swift, but just have more of an edge. And like that's whoever the next Taylor Swift is, you're gonna get compared to Taylor, and then they will toss you away. Look, South Park did a whole episode of this years ago, and now Taylor's just writing about it.
I did when they came out with the track list. When the track list for the first part was leaked months ago, whatever. Clara Bow's, I think it was like granddaughters or great granddaughters. People contacted them and were like, "Did she ask for your permission to use her name?" And they're like, "No, like she doesn't need to ask for our permission." But they also thought that it was really cool because they were fans of Taylor. And they're like, it's cool that because a lot of people don't know who she is anymore, for her legacy to be talked about by Taylor Swift. Like we think that that's like an honor and everything. So I thought that was cool. I was really looking forward to that song. And I did, like I said, all of them lyrically were great, but I liked that one a lot.
The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived is one of the greatest diss tracks of our time. People keep listening.
Oh my God.
People are like, when's Kendrick going to drop the diss track? Look, I want Kendrick to respond as well. But I've said this before, and I don't know if people get mad about it. This goes back to the days of Innocent, which is about Kanye West.
Yeah.
She's the greatest diss track writer of all time.
Yeah.
Because you can't really respond to her. You can, but you're not going to come out ahead in any type of war with Taylor Swift. So you just kind of got to almost sit there and take it and, just hope she doesn't completely ruin you. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, which pretty sure it's about Healy, just completely destroys that man.
Yeah. I listened to that one twice when I was going through it because it was when she called it his Jehovah's Witness suit because of the way he dresses on tour. I about lost it because that's literally how Jehovah's Witnesses dress. And I'm like, oh my God, like that one is just, and like you said, it's clearly, we know who it's about, but it's funny because so many people are upset because she has so many songs that are perceived to be about him and not as many about Joe Alwyn. It's her life. I'm not like, why are you mad at somebody because they wrote more songs about one person than someone else? I don't care if they dated for 6 years. Like, if she wanted to write more songs about him, she would have. I think that there were quite a few about both of them on here, but that song, like, that man did her dirty. Apparently they weren't even together very long, and she talked so much shit about him. Oh my God, that song is so funny.
The Joe Alwyn portion, I mean, they were together for a long time. Like, that was pretty sure her longest
Yeah, they were together for like 6.5 years.
Yeah. And, she wrote a lot of obviously like love songs about him. Look, she said that she would have his child in the, I forget which song it was on Folklore. But yeah, there was a lot of love songs about him. I don't feel like the Healy stuff was very, fans were upset about that one immediately, and she kind of calls all that out in this album. The Joe Alwyn stuff, it was clear that it didn't end the best, and it was very there was a very she went into a very depressive state after it. But it felt like that was obviously a very real, true love, and she was adult heartbroken over that, which you're not going to always have terrible things to say about all of your exes, especially when you have a 6-year relationship with them.
Well, and like you said, it's not always, sometimes you're just not the right person for someone else. Like, you don't stay with someone when you're not married and you don't have kids for 6 years for no reason. Like, they very clearly loved one another, but she was like kept from being who she is because she was trying to make him happy. And so that's always been the thing, like, he didn't like being in the public eye and all that. And you can tell lyrically, and like you said, talking about having his baby and stuff, you can tell lyrically in a lot of the songs that, and she had a couple on here too, she wanted that commitment from him. Like, we have been together for this long. She wanted to get married. She wanted something, and that never happened on his half, whether he wanted that or, whatever. But I think that it's okay to let someone mourn parts of their relationship privately, even if they've given most of their life publicly. Like, she doesn't have to share everything. And she's happy now, like, that she released the statement after or whatever about, like, this is a part of my life that, like, the door's been closed on already. I've, went through these emotions and all that. Well, yeah, it's been almost a year since her and Joe broke up, and almost a year since her and Maddie. So, like, let her have a little bit of time, people. Like, I don't know. I think it's strange when people get upset that, like, she's not sharing her. And she shares a lot of depression on this. Like, she's very much talking about being depressed. But I will say that the line, I can't think of what song it was in, but the line that she talks about telling, the one that she writes all the songs with,
Jack.
Yeah. That, like, she would kill herself or whatever. And that was about Maddie. So I'm like, damn, y'all moved quickly. Like, you guys were not together very long. And you said, like, she does call out her fans about, like, people giving her so much shit about being with him. And she talks about that too in, like, I Can Fix Him. But he's not a good person either. So that's a fair assessment for people to be like, you're with someone that's a very bad person. And I think she realizes now that she was with someone that was a very bad person. So
it's, I think it's But Daddy, I Love Him, where she mentions, I'm pregnant. Oh, I'm not, but you should see your face. Like, that is clearly just about the fan base of, like, what if I said I was just pregnant here? Like, how would y'all react? Because I'm sure you saw it when her and Maddie started dating. There was, like, the Taylor Swift, just the fan club of, like, we should have a say over her love life, and we should be able to, like, I didn't know if that was a joke or not, but it was also so much a thing that they would do that I'm like, yeah, maybe this is real. Like, they actually are going to start a petition of, like, we need approval over her boyfriend.
And I would love to be like, oh yeah, they were joking. I don't actually think that they were.
No.
And that's why part of the reason that I think that Travis Kelce is good for her, because, like, he does things publicly with her. Like, he's a pretty public person. But I also think, like, they were in Coachella in the middle of the crowd together. I can't see her doing that with anyone else that she's dated, because he will fuck someone up if they come up there, you know? Like, but if I was her, I would be terrified to have children because of
Oh,
the way that her fan base and people that hate her, like, both of them are so, like, people that are like, she needs to stop making music. Just don't listen to it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people I'm not fans of, and I just don't listen to their music. I'm not like mad that they're making music for their fans. That's strange. People hate her intensely. And I would literally be terrified. I would have to like retire and just never be out anymore just to protect my kids.
um, I can do it with a broken heart. Like, kind of touches on a lot of that of basically like, hey, I got to be on tour and go out there perform every single night, but going through this breakup, going through everything in my life is in the public eye, and I just got to go out there and put a smile on my face even though I'm super depressed.
That sounds
And
funny.
oh, it
But
is. Like, she does it
so,
in a very humorous way.
yes.
But like, you can also just hear the depression just through the lyrics
Mm-hmm.
of like, yeah, all of this is like not always as fun as it may seem to be. And like, I
Yeah.
cannot imagine, like, people will talk about like superstar level
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I think wrestling fans, here you go. You want some wrestling talk? I think wrestling fans very much get in the bubble when it comes into ratings, and people are like, oh, if AEW put Taylor Swift on television, they still wouldn't draw a million. If AEW put Taylor Swift on television, they draw about 15 million. All right. Like, I don't care if she's just out there welcoming people to the show. They would draw the biggest number they've ever done. Like, there's levels to superstardom, and she's at the A1 tier. Like, The Rock, look what he did for wrestling. She's above him. She's above, I can't think of anybody else who is like actually on that level, like worldwide as
Yeah.
well, not just like in America, like worldwide. Everything she does is covered, scrutinized, picked at, whatever it might be. Like, there's levels to just, again, superstardom, and she's at the very top of that list. So
Mm-hmm.
with everything being so public and still having to just go out and try to live your life normally. It's like, look, she brought she brought it to herself. She's become this famous, but that doesn't that doesn't mean she's not allowed to live a normal life like a normal person on
Yeah.
this. And so to hear her write about a lot of that stuff, which she's touched on a little bit in the past, but I mean, let's be honest, she's at the biggest like she's ever been right now. Like,
Yeah.
the
With this tour. Yeah.
yeah, like, she wrote basically all this album during the Eras tour. So yeah, they just everything going into that where you're selling out 50,000 people stadiums every single night,
Yeah.
like running 3 shows and everything. Like, I can't imagine to actually live life in that way and to have all of these moves kind of
Mm-hmm.
scrutinized.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, like you said, everything she does is scrutinized. Everything she does is like, she always talks about how that's why she lives in New York, because New York is such a different vibe than LA. Like, LA, everyone is just obsessed, even though there's celebrities everywhere. Everyone's obsessed, but in New York, they're like obsessed from farther away. Like, let me give you a little bit of space and everything. I mean, Travis Kelce had to buy a new house once they started dating because people were coming up to his freaking windows. Like, he is famous. Everyone knew where he lived in Kansas City, and he didn't have those issues, and had to buy a new house in a gated community, and still had someone freaking break into the gated community to try to see her. Like, that's not normal. The parasocial relationships are alarming. They're very scary. And I just don't like, I always say I'm a different level of Swiftie than those Swifties because I'm not obsessing over someone's life. I didn't even know that like she was dating Maddie Healy and wouldn't have known if it wasn't for Twitter. I would have had no idea because I'm not like stalking her movements. And the people that are like, Travis Kelce unfollowed her on Instagram, they've broken up. Why are you looking at that? Like, what? I don't understand. Why are you checking who he follows? She doesn't follow anybody. And I only know that because I was on her page earlier looking at that damn countdown for the second half of the album. Like, I don't understand. It's just, and like we were talking about it being teenagers, there are grown adults that do it too, though. And I'm like, you got to get some help because this is not normal. Also, I haven't had power in almost an hour and my house is getting cold. It's like 50 outside.
I was talking with my wife about this yesterday before the album came out, and I was just like, you know, there's definitely levels to Taylor Swift fandom. And she was asking me like, oh, what's the album gonna like kind of be about and everything? I was like, it seems like it's mostly gonna be the Joe Alwyn album. I feel like it's going to it's going to touch on that. I think it's going to be a lot of written in the style of Folklore and Evermore, which are two of my favorite written albums by her. And I was like, you know, I haven't even like looked at the track list. I haven't like that, you know, she does these Easter eggs. She gives all these different like clues. And like, if you want to commit to that level of fandom, there's certainly ways to do it. But I'm just like, I don't really have a desire to do all of that. I don't want to put myself in the shoes of like, I'm feeling like I'm being invasive into the life. And again, she brings some of it in that she does this stuff because she does have fans that will look and pick at everything. But then I also think sometimes you gotta just accept everything for what it is and just enjoy everything for what it is. I mean, she in the manuscript, she says like, you know, it's no longer mine, it's ours, which again kind of touches on just the relationship with the fan base. Like, okay, these are our songs. Basically everything I write is for public consumption. Like, she understands it, but I again still don't think that sometimes it needs to be taken to the level that it is.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I know a lot of people really like the LOML, which is what, if from one perspective, love of my life, or from another perspective, loss of my life. You know, that one seems to be about Joe Alwyn, and it's very sad but very good.
Yeah, that's
your thoughts on it?
probably, I think that's probably one of her best. I don't even know if I should say it as like love songs, but that's, I mean, it is. It's about like the love that they had and everything. But I that's lyrically absolutely like one of her. She poured herself into that one for sure.
I was just reading the lyrics again, talking about marriage. The one song where she even mentions like wedding ring. I thought you were about to propose, and then you didn't, and it completely just broke my heart. And you can tell that relationship just took a overall toll on her. And she doesn't come across angry with that one compared to the songs about Healy. It's just more she comes across just very sad and depressed that it ended the way that it did, and it didn't turn out how she kind of thought it was going to turn out.
Yeah, I think Healy was clearly a rebound. Like, I mean, she jumped into that relationship. I mean, we don't know exactly when her relationship with Alwyn had ended, but when you go from a relationship that long and then you go into the next one, like, it felt through the songs like he made a lot of promises about, you know, like, oh, well, this will be different than how it was with him and everything. Like, I felt like hers at him was more anger about like, okay, well, you were actually a piece of shit. And then with Joe, it was like she thought that that was the love of her life. She thought that that was the person that she was going to spend the rest of her life with. And I mean, she was with him through her late 20s, early 30s, when, you know, a lot of people are settling down and things like that. So I can absolutely see that. And it seems for sure like she doesn't want to hurt him in the same ways that she wants to. Like, she doesn't care if she hurts Maddie, but she doesn't want to hurt Joe because she did love him, like, and probably still loves him in some way, you know, like she spent a lot of time with as his partner. But yeah, it's sad reading like how depressed and heartbroken she was, and knowing like she's doing this tour and gearing up for, you know, like it reminds me of, I never watched the Katy Perry movie when she did the concert movie, but when she was on tour and Russell Brand like broke up with her right before she was supposed to go on stage, like said he wanted a divorce. And there's the video of her like absolutely breaking down. And then she just has to like get in a zone to go out, and then all of a sudden she's got like a big fake smile on her and they're raising her up on stage with her freaking spinning boob things and everything, because that was when she dressed wild all the time. And it reminds me a lot of that, like when, if she could have mourned it privately, it would have been different. But at the time she'd just come back so publicly, going on the Eras tour and everything like that. And so it was like, well, I've got to pretend like I'm fine, whether I'm actually fine or not.
Look, I've done this show, not the show, but a show, like moments after I was splitting with my ex. So it's certainly not easy to just put on the brave face and move forward and try to do a show. I do the show and a couple thousand people might watch if I'm lucky. Doing a show and hundreds of thousands of people are watching is absolutely insane. Again, I do the show for an hour and a half or whatever. You're out there performing live and from a stadium. I cannot just imagine
No.
any of that. Like, it's to put on the brave face and do those things when it might not be your best day. I mean, we all do it to an extent. I don't think everybody is just going out there and every day is the best day of their life.
Right,
But
right.
we got kids, we got work, we got to go pick up groceries or whatever. So you got to put on a brave face. But there, once again, levels to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and I like you said, you went on.
Hey.
You went on like right after that happened to you, and that's hard. Like, you're trying to not let your emotions bleed into your work that you're putting out, and that's just, you said 1,000 people might watch or whatever. Like, Taylor is self-aware enough that she knows that, especially with how freaking expensive the tickets were for the Eras tour, like, she knows that for some people this might be the only chance they ever get to see her in concert. And so it's like, okay, well, I have to make sure that I make this worth their time and worth their money that they've worked for to be able to do this. And that's so much pressure. And I watched the Eras tour movie. Did not go to the Eras tour. I watched the Eras tour movie with my kids, and they've never been to a concert before, so they're like that's the standard for them now. They think that that's how every concert should be, and they were like amazed by her costume changes and just all of it. And I'm like, it's such an immersive experience watching. And she's doing this every night, like just she takes a month or so break, and then she's back at it again, and that's exhausting. And I can't imagine like the mental toll that just that has to take on a person, because that's just a lot.
And then she wrote this album while doing.
And then wrote this album, yeah. This freaking 31 track album.
You mentioned her age during like the Joe Alwyn relationship, and there's the line, I forget which song it was, but it's like, all my friends smell like weed or little babies.
Yes, that made me laugh out loud.
It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like,
yeah.
I definitely remember my late 20s, early 30s. It was like any group I hung out with is like, yeah, they are either just having kids or we probably just stood outside and just smoked and just got high. And it's like, all right, that's basically
yeah.
I think her and Joe Alwyn just got stoned all the time, which bless them.
I mean, good for her. But like, I think it's so funny, like you said that, because I'll be 31 in 13 days. I joked, that she released it 13 days before my 31st birthday. But I had my kids young. And so there was a guy on freaking Twitter the other day who kept telling me that he thought I was older than what I am. And like being like, it's because you look tired, because you.
Oh, that might actually be. Oh,
okay.
Is that okay? That was actually your internet. I'm so used to it being mine.
My Wi-Fi reconnected.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but the guy told me that I looked old, and that was because I looked tired because I have kids, and I'm like, fuck you, buddy. Like, but I was thinking about it, and I'm like, but that's like me and Will both had our kids young, and Will's kids are older than mine, and he was still older than I was when he had kids. And so whenever we're around like a big group, a lot of the people don't have kids, and they're like, they don't relate to the things that you and I relate to because they just don't have kids yet. People are having kids later. My kids are going to be grown when everybody else starts having kids. Like my kids will literally, I'll be like 43 when my kids are adults. But that part was so funny and relatable to me, because that's really how it is. I mean, it shows people will be freaking, popping a gummy and being like, how are your kids doing? Like,
Louis says, Joe Alwyn looks like he still buys weed on the street when a dispensary is 5 minutes away. Like, the street stuff can be better in some cases.
Well, Joe Alwyn looks like a person too that buys it on the street because he thinks that it makes him cooler. So
anything else from the album? Any other songs that stood out?
A lot of them, I will say, it'll be a bit before I can distinguish a lot of them, because so many of them have a lot of like similar sound and stuff to them, and it's depressing. It's a very depressing album overall. Like, I mean, I don't know. I liked, like, lyrically, all of them. I know I've said that multiple times. I Look in People's Windows. I like that one a lot. It was kind of funny. But how in the world? My system did not even, like, it's still where I was. It just came right back up to where an hour ago. Like, what's even happening here? But which one was the one? Oh, I'm Gonna Get You Back. The level of unhinged that song was, I love it. It was great. I loved it so much, because I'm like, that's my level of being unhinged. That's the kind of unhinged that I like.
It almost reminds, there's that Olivia Rodrigo song where it's a very similar theme of, I here's how I'm going to get you back. It's just basically going to be, I'm going to love you until I Break Your Heart or just break other shit. And I forget the Olivia Rodrigo song that it is, but it gave me a little bit of vibes like that, at least lyrically.
Yeah.
Which her song might be something like I'm gonna get you back. Now it's gonna bother me until I figure out which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's on the new album as well. Yeah, Get Him Back. There you go. So it's very similar title there. Yeah, I thought the same thing about that one. I think I do like that she continues her love of Peter Pan with Peter. She's always making Peter Pan and Wendy references. Pops me that she just does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martin Raheli had to Get Him Back with Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know if they have beef or not. The Swifties and I don't know what the Olivia Rodrigo fans call themselves.
I have no idea.
All right, maybe we can bring SP3 back on here. He said he was going to come back on at 11. See, we did about less than an hour on the album, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't even have power for like 98% of it.
We're still not talking wrestling on this show, by the way. I want everybody to know that. Like, if you're still coming here for the wrestling talk,
sorry,
you're gonna be in for a surprise because we're still.
I'll tell you guys about my Kane story. I told you a little bit about it. The Hurricanes. Yeah. So we went to a hockey game Friday. Got to watch the Blues get knocked out of playoff contention because they suck. They got their butts kicked by the Hurricanes. They actually played very well the first two periods and stayed right with them, and then ended up losing 5-2. I think it was 5-2. But they were 1-1 first period, 1-1 second period, and then they just lost their shit. I blame Bennington because I blame him for everything. But yeah. So we were in the first row behind the Canes bench. Last time we went, we sat in the second row behind the Canes bench. We're in the first row behind the Canes bench. My kids are like right next to the edge, right next to the tunnel. And after the game ended, I cannot remember what player it was. I spent the whole game talking about how they have like the most unattractive team in the NHL. It's sad, but they do. But one of the players was trying to give my kids a hockey stick when the game ended. Like, as they were going off, tried to hand it to him. This drunk man comes down from wherever the hell he was, and no one else was sitting in the front row but us. Once the Blues started losing, everybody was leaving. Like, the arena was half empty at that point. So I'm standing like with my back to the rest of the aisle. My kids are like leaned over. This guy's trying to give them a hockey stick, but they're going through. Like, they go through quickly. They're not going to stop. They're high-fiving people, whatever. This drunk guy comes up and starts screaming right behind me and shoves me into the glass, and I'm like keeping myself from hitting my kids, but it jostles them and the stick falls and breaks. So my kids didn't get a stick. They were very upset because they wanted a puck, or I told them they probably wouldn't get a stick, and then they were going to get a stick, and then that happened. I turned around and screamed in that man's face because I was pissed. I had been mad since before the game started because when we got there were a bunch of Canes fans down in our seats and they wouldn't move. And I'm like, okay, but we paid for these seats. And they're like, well, we're Canes fans. I'm like, tough shit. Like, we paid to sit here. Go somewhere else. So I was already like, and then the Blues lost, and I was just not in a great mood, even though I did get to watch Scandella play, and I don't get to see him play very often because he's not great. Or as the child behind me kept saying, you're old, go to a retirement home. He's 33. So, but I'm just pissed. I'm mad about it. I posted about it on Twitter afterwards, just being like that. Like, I hate when I don't drink, as you know. Like, I hate when drunk people ruin an experience for you. And my kids are never around alcohol, so they just thought this man was insane. They're like, why is he acting like this? And I've had this happen at so many wrestling shows, at, baseball games. Like, people drink past when they should, and they don't know their limits, and then they act like assholes. And I would like to point out that this man did not even have a Canes jersey on. He had a Penguins jersey on. Not Crosby, because then we would have had a bigger issue.
Was it a Gunsel jersey?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't even like a branded Penguins.
I was saying, because at least like if it's a Jake Gunsel Penguins jersey, he plays for the Hurricanes now. So like,
no, it didn't have a name or number on it. It was just like a basic.
Oh,
yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
I'm like, okay, buddy. So I posted about it on Twitter, and I have a couple friends who are Canes fans, apparently, and they were tagging the Canes in the post. And I'm like, no, like, I'm just venting. I'm not trying to, like, we're Blues fans. We're at a Blues game. Like, so actually the head of marketing for the Canes reached out to me that night, because I woke up the next morning and had a DM from him. And my kid's favorite player on I just saw your message. My kid's favorite player on the Canes is Jesper Fast, because they think like, who would not want their last name to be Fast if they're a hockey player? That's a fantastic last name as a hockey player. They were cheering him on through the game. I'm like, this is the wrong team. Stop cheering for Fast. So he got autographed pucks, 2 autographed pucks from Fast, and I think he told me plushies, and sent them to my kids. So the package is supposed to be here today. They do not know. I have not told them any of this. So they are going to be so excited to have their Fast autographed hockey pucks. But I thought that was very nice of them, because I'm very obviously not a Canes fan on my Twitter, although I was talking shit about Bennington through that entire game about how much he sucks. But I thought that was nice of them to send that, because like, it wasn't at their arena. It wasn't, like, they still are sending that to my kids. So we are cheering for the Canes. I'm very sorry. They are our second favorite team now.
Since I used to live in North Carolina, I went to Canes games all the time. So right. I kind of am still a little attached, not fully. Like
How far were you from Raleigh?
How far?
Yeah.
Oh, I lived in Raleigh.
I didn't realize you lived in Raleigh.
Yeah, I kind of bounced all around North Carolina, but from like 10 to 18, 19, basically all throughout elementary, middle, and high school, I lived in Raleigh. And that's when I would go to the most Canes games. We didn't have season tickets, but we could get tickets to basically any game that we wanted to. And I would still go. And then I lived in Durham, which is literally the brother of Raleigh. You can just walk over the line and get into Raleigh. The furthest I ever lived from the arena was probably about 40 minutes, and the closest I lived to the arena was probably about 15 minutes. So gotcha. I would go to games. I even went to games when they first moved, when they played games in Greensboro. So yeah, I got a long history with the Canes. Their announcer, he's the Seattle Kraken announcer now, John Forsland.
Yeah.
I did my high school, it was middle school. I think it was middle school. My middle school, like what I want to be when I grow up project on him. So awesome. Like I interviewed him, and then he gave me like a tour of the arena and the all of that. So yeah, I got a long history with the Hurricanes. So I'll kind of always a little bit root for them. But as I've moved, I've gotten less attached to like watching games and everything.
Well, my family was from North Carolina, but that was 30 years ago. But it was Winston-Salem for us. So, it was different area really. But yeah, I was telling my parents about it, and my dad was like, well, that was nice of them. And then he was like, why the fuck is their name Hurricanes if they're in North Carolina? And I'm like,
we got Hurricane Fran. Hurricane Fran fucked up that state for a while.
I'm like, to be fair. But yeah, I thought that was very nice of them to do that, because they absolutely did not have to. And I said that too when people started tagging them. I'm like, no, like I'm not there was a thing the other day, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but a kid was getting an autographed baseball from his favorite player, and somebody ran up and stole the baseball. And the kid was like 9. And somebody ran up and stole the baseball, like, as it was getting passed back to him. And of course he was upset, and the dad like went and got him food and everything, and he posted about it on Facebook or Twitter, or maybe both. And they reached out to him and ended up giving the kid like a tour of the place, and he got to meet the player and everything. And he got to sit in the owner's seats right behind home plate for the next game and everything. And I was like, I like when they, you know, they don't have to do anything. Nobody expects them to do anything. But when they do stuff like that, it makes kids like loyal to a team. Like, my kids are going to be so excited about this. And my oldest is not super interested in hockey because he doesn't ever know where the puck is, no matter how much I point it out to him. He's like, it needs to be a different color. I'm like, you still wouldn't be able to see it. It doesn't matter. But my youngest
Needs
is
the
very
old
into
puck
it.
glow on ESPN.
Yeah. My youngest is very into it. So I think that they'll be excited, and I'm excited for it to get here. They get out of school in like an hour. So
JJ's asking how the Avs are this season. We lost in the first round in 7 games last year. This year we're the 3 seed against Winnipeg. I'm not feeling super confident. I don't trust our goaltending. It's gonna be a miserable couple of weeks between the Avs and the Thunder both being in the playoffs. My poor wife is already just like, so I got like 2 more days of like peace. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because Sunday, yeah, I told her Sunday is actually better that there is an AEW pay-per-view because like I'm gonna be so focused on work that I'm not gonna give my full attention to the game. So like Sunday, I'm not gonna have time to be depressed because like, oh shit, here's Tony Khan. Great question. Can't comment on that. I got to transcribe all of this. It's like I don't have time to be depressed on Sunday. But after that, it'll get bad.
who is Ryan's team?
Ryan, who's your team? I feel like I should know who Ryan's team is, but I don't. Is it Pittsburgh? I feel like Ryan's a Pittsburgh fan. Oh, Flyers. So okay, I was close.
Oh God, he's gonna be mad because you said Pittsburgh now.
Yeah. Ryan. Sorry. All right, SP3 is back to get. I assume he's just spent the last hour listening to the Taylor Swift album, so we can get his full thoughts.
My power's back on.
Oh, nice.
It was off for the whole hour.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, no, I spent the last hour eating breakfast.
He said, yep, nope.
What'd you have?
Made myself some waffles, some eggs, some bacon.
Nice.
Turkey bacon. So that was good.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get lunch after this show. I gotta run some errands, and I'm gonna.
Oh, you're not doing something else after this show? See how great your plan is. You just forget about it midway through talking about whatever y'all was talking about for the last hour. I left, y'all were talking about freaking that lady complaining about love. Then I come back, y'all talking about hockey. Then the hockey conversation turns into baseball. I feel like I'm watching a 2024 edition of Step by Step. What the hell are we doing here?
When did
Why
we talk about baseball?
Like you're in a bunker?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm not close enough. Or do I have to get closer?
I don't know. You sound like the echo is echoing.
I need you to quit talking shit about me and my white lady depression. and
don't break kayfabe either. I know what's going on here. I know what's happening.
He knows
What's happening?
Oh, you sound better
God.
at least.
Yeah, I just did the laptop mic for now.
Okay, all right. Oh, you're saying like, oh, you're just after the show, you're gonna go get food, forgetting about. No, I know. I'm not sticking around for that. I'm not talking wrestling today. I just want to do the transition shot. You know, cinema, as the kids call it.
Cinema.
We're gonna get praised like WWE does for their camera work, for their
We love
just basic
cinema.
tracking one shot.
Oh, we're gonna do a one shot from one channel to another.
We're gonna get praised for all our
When
great
you've
work.
when you've
that we
been
do.
used to shitty camera work for so long that just basic camera work, you're like, damn,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
One long tracking shot. Oh my god, they deserve an Emmy.
Yeah,
They're gonna.
obviously.
Lee Fitting can't get one. He's banned from the sports Emmys. So doesn't.
I learned that. I learned that actually the other day. So that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. SJ3, you gonna talk about basketball? You're not a hockey fan, although I heard that
I'm
you
a
were
Mighty
not
Ducks fan.
true.
That's a
movie.
good team.
The movie.
They could beat the Blues.
The first three movies. I don't know if they had straight to VHS movies or anything like that, but and Game Changers. Game Changers was good. Well, first season at least.
First season, yeah. I couldn't even get through the second season.
The second, me and Jensen reviewed the second season on this channel. That was a bad season.
Yeah, I couldn't get
like,
through it.
listen.
Man, these kids are not as funny when they look older.
When I went to
no
get-
Emilio Estevez, it lost everything.
Yeah, that makes it a lot less. When I went to get my lashes done the other day, she was talking about watching she's like 24, and she was talking about how she had never seen One Tree Hill before. And she started watching it. And when I was thinking, like, damn, why would you never see it? But then I was like, oh, she was like 5 when it came out. That's why. Like, I had to actually like think about that. But she was talking about it, and she's like, these last seasons suck. And I'm like, let me tell you about a podcast.
Yes, just send her that podcast where we just complain, because I had never seen it until I prepped for that podcast, and I watched seasons. I stopped watching like midway through season 6. I found out season 6 was going to be the last one with Peyton and Lucas, and I was like, let me save it. I'll save the rest of the episodes. And then I never watched it again. But I didn't even know they kept going. It was like years later that I found out that they had kept going. I was like, wait, I thought it was done after Lucas and
then I asked her if she liked Lucas or not, because I'm like, this is really dependent on if I tip you today for my lashes. Like, are you a Lucas fan? And she was like, he's terrible. I'm like, okay, fantastic.
Well done. I love, like, in every team soap opera, there's always that one character that you hate. Because, like, with me and Maggie, when we did the OC character ranking, we both hate Marissa. Marissa was like the drama queen of everything, and me and you, we hate Lucas in One Tree Hill. I don't know who it was for Beverly Hills 90210, because I was like 5-6 years old, and my sister and mom would watch it, and I would just watch it with them, not really knowing what was going on.
Right.
And then when I got with my missus, she was a Beverly Hills 90210 fan, so we rewatched the first 4 seasons, because I think at that time Hulu only had like the full first 4 seasons, then some episodes of season 5. Yeah, it was so weird because we wanted to continue watching, but we couldn't. Because
I was so mad when I tried to rewatch 90210. It's like going along, and then it's like, you know, it just plays the next episode. All of a sudden, they're on a cliff threatening a man that I've never seen before, and I'm like, the fuck did he come from? Why are they threatening to toss this man off a cliff? What is happening?
I was like, what just happened? They just exited a whole complete arc. And season 5 is funny because season 5 is like the season I remember watching. I remember being old enough to be like 6-7 years old. That season was going on. And I remember Kelly and Brandon together. And that was like my favorite couple from the show, because I only watched from that season onward to the end. And when it gets to season 5, it's like, one episode they're like talking, they're friends. The next episode they're making out, their girlfriend boy. I'm like, wow, did you skip? You skipped the whole love.
Hulu is really bad about that. I was telling one of my friends, because she'd never seen Grey's Anatomy before, and she was like, well, we're gonna get rid of Netflix once like Great British Bake Off or some bullshit like that was over. And I was like, well, I would let you share my account, but they don't, let people do that anymore. And she was like, I'll just watch it on Hulu. And I said, oh, don't do that. Because there's like 22 episodes a season, and they'll have like 6 of them on there. And you'll have no idea what's going on. Yeah. Because I don't know why, but they do that all the time. Even with like old shows, they do that. I mean, like, I'm a huge I Love Lucy fan. And freaking, they'll not have like half the episodes of I Love Lucy on there. I'm like, everybody on the show's dead. Like, what's happening? I'm so confused.
I was so mad at Hulu with the 90210. I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Hulu?
At least they gave us the full, first 4 seasons, so we got to see the OG love triangle of Brenda, Dylan, and Kelly.
They're talking about Step by Step in the chat, and I watched Step by Step as a kid, but I've never seen it as an adult.
I've never seen it as an adult either.
Never seen it, period.
You never seen Step by Step?
I mean, I've heard of it.
It would be on Nick at Night sometimes. Like, they would have it in the Nick at Night lineup as a kid, but I never liked it.
I was old enough to remember Step by Step on TGIF, and then remember that Step by Step was the other show with Family Matters that moved from ABC to CBS and got worse. Both of them actively got worse when they transitioned from TGIF block to Friday nights on CBS. Both shows got horrible. They replaced Harriet with some light-skinned lady, and it wasn't in the same effect of Fresh Prince, so it was awful that final season. And then with Step by Step, it was like all the kids was older. It's like, we don't care about them.
They were like,
and there was no Cody. They got rid of Cody, who was the best character, funniest character.
That's what I was looking up, because they were talking about how Cody was the best, and then someone was like, the actor that played Cody did not rule as a person, so I was looking him up. And he's a terrible human. He was a freaking wife abuser.
Yeah.
And also got arrested for child endangerment, so like not a great person. But
it was pretty bad. I think they replaced him. The comedic relief on the show after him was wasn't it the dude from Perfect Strangers? Wasn't he on Step by Step? I remember that because I remember him and the dad on the show used to have a lot of scenes together.
Yeah.
And he used to play like a gay hairdresser in there.
My mom was a Suzanne Summers fan, so she would always make me watch shit that she was in. Like, I was watching that in freaking Three's Company all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to watch either of these things. So, like, I just was never... What was the other one? There was that damn show that Alyssa Milano was on when she was a kid. That she always made me
Who's
watch.
the Boss?
Yes.
That was my joint from Nick at Night. Nick at Night made me discover
Who's the Boss too.
Who's the Boss and Growing Pains. Growing Pains still has one of the best theme songs ever. Show me that smile. Oh, show me that smile.
I loved Growing Pains. Growing Pains was one.
I love every different version that they did of that song. Every time I was like, oh, they got the remix. I want to throw horns on that every time they throw up a remix.
Yeah, I really liked Growing Pains, and when they did, like, years later, when they would do like the reunion movies and stuff of it, I remember obsessed with those.
Yeah, like, I remember the Growing Pains movie.
Even though
it's not the same.
Even though Kirk Cameron is like a terrible human being, like, still just loved it.
I was like, damn, man, Kirk Cameron, he was like the first like sitcom kid that I wanted to be like, and then I found out what he really was. I was like, moving on. Zach Morris, here we go. And then and then I found out I watched the what was it? Like an True Hollywood Story of Saved by the Bell. I was like, oh, so much for Zach.
You can't watch True Hollywood Story on anybody.
Oh my god. Yeah,
everyone.
They'll make you dislike everybody.
Yeah, everyone is a terrible person on True Hollywood Story. Every single person.
To be fair, most of the people on Saved by the Bell were terrible, but somehow Screech was still like the worst human out of all of them.
Yes, it's crazy because he was so influenced from being so young. He was the youngest, so he was influenced by all of that.
I will say,
just became a creepy person.
I don't know if you guys remember the Celebrity Fit Club on VH1.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was obsessed. Why I was obsessed with that, I have no idea, because I was like 10. And I'm like,
I was obsessed with that and Surreal Life.
Yes, I watched both of those. I don't know who half these people are, but I'm like, yeah, let's watch it. Like, got freaking Carney Wilson on here, and I'm like, cool. I hope she loses weight. Like,
Surreal Life got me when they put on China. When they put on China, I was like, all right, y'all got me. I'm gonna watch. And then I was like, wait, what is Xbox doing here? What is going on?
Oh, that was so toxic. That was so bad.
They were They were
Yeah.
so toxic with each other.
Them
Drugs.
just
Drugs are bad,
arguing.
kids. Yeah.
And I think
Them
the year
arguing on the show.
the season before that was Flavor Flav and
Bridget
And
Nielsen.
from
Bridget.
yes,
Yeah.
Bridget
Yeah,
Nielsen.
yeah.
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 They were so funny together.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I was obsessed with Celebrity Fit Club, and when Dustin Diamond went on there, he just showed what a terrible human he was. Like, he was just awful, the way he talked to people and everything. And I was like, oh my God, nobody wanted him on their team. Every time they could trade him, they'd trade him to the other team. He wasn't losing any weight. And I was like, man, this guy is just terrible. Yeah, I was obsessed with the Surreal Life, though. And wasn't that supposed to be coming back? Like, wasn't
think it
freaking
did.
CJ Perry
It
supposed to
did.
be
I
on
think
it?
it did, and no one realized.
Yeah, no one cared.
No one cared.
Yeah, Lana, CJ Perry was on it. Yeah, and like no one
And
watched
Dennis
or
Rodman,
cared.
wasn't Dennis Rodman?
Yeah,
on
Dennis
it?
Rodman. Yeah. And no one cared at all. And so like just didn't get covered. And I assume now it is no longer a thing.
So Real Life is like
So it was on MTV for that season.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it
Yeah.
was still
Oh
on
no, they're doing
VH1.
an 8th season.
Oh my
With
God, it's still
who?
going on. See?
It was
We-
only season 7 was only like 6 episodes though.
I heard they're bringing back Flavor of Love, which is a
Oh.
great idea. Great
Oh,
idea.
don't
So
tease me with that.
That was my shit.
That
I
was
obsessed with Flavor of Love. Like Hoops, I thought Hoops was the most gorgeous person in the entire world. Safari was hilarious. Like the dumb ass nicknames that he gave to these people.
Pumpkin.
Like Pumpkin. Like
Buck Wild.
Buck
Oh.
Wild.
Wild.
Wanna
yeah,
get
like-
Buck Wild.
and it wouldn't be spelled normal. It'd be like Buck Wild with a Y.
Yeah.
I actually rewatched Flavor of Love maybe like 2-3 years ago, and it still is so hilarious. It's
Oh
still
my
so, and it's like when you rewatch it and you watch the first season and you're like, yeah, there is like no question of why New York became a reality star.
Yeah.
If you rewatch that first season, because she is the villain of the whole first season, and it was like that made her a reality star, and literally she's like the most entertaining reality star ever, in my opinion. Like,
Well, and
she's
it's so
top 2,
funny
top 3
too.
all time.
Because you will never convince me any of those women actually wanted Flava Flav. Like they wanted to be, they were like the people getting on reality shows trying to be influencers before that was a thing. Because most of them are like you can tell they're not attracted to him, and they all just think he's an idiot and everything. And I'm like, yeah, they just wanted to be on TV. And it was the same thing when they started, spinning off and doing all the other ones. They had the freaking Tila Tequila one. And
Shot
then
of
they had
Love. They had
she's
Rock of
freaking
Love.
crazy now.
Rock of
They had
Love.
they had
I Love New York.
I Love New York.
Yeah.
They had the Double Shot at Love, which was like the twins that were on there.
And I think they
like-
brought that back with Paulie and Vinny from Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like so much, just ridiculous. What was the one? Daisy of Love with the one
Daisy
from Rock of Love.
Yeah.
Like, oh my, they were so ridiculous. I will say, the Rock of Love tour bus, so stupid, such a stupid concept. Okay, they stopped at the Walmart like 30 minutes from my house because they were all so drunk and they needed to pee. So they stopped like where the trucks unload, and my aunt was the store manager, and she had to like let them all in to use the bathroom. I'm like, why didn't you go to a gas station? No, they stopped at the Walmart to piss. And I remember her sending me a picture of it. I had it on like I was like 15. I had it on my flip phone. You couldn't even see, you could see the bus. You couldn't see who anybody was or anything on it because the picture qualities were so bad. And she's like, I just met Bret Michaels. He's bald. And I'm like dying. It's so funny. But those shows were just so stupid. Just dumb as hell. Oh my God. But I
Those
love
were
them.
those were fantastic. Yeah, Jonas comes in and is like, any watch the Bret Michaels reality show? Yeah, we're talking about it.
That's
right
exactly
now.
what we're talking
I
about.
was just talking about how he's bald.
Yeah. I wish they would. Like you said, Flavor of Love is coming back. I hope so. I wish they would have some of these shows again because they are so we love the trashy reality TV. This crew here.
That's just
I
that's
mean-
the 2000s VH1.
Yeah.
That's
we
what we're
do
talking about.
have MILF Manor back.
Oh, see, I completely missed this. SB3 was the one who in our group chat was like, Jeremy was holding out on us. Like, I didn't know. They announced this during WrestleMania week, and if it was not wrestling during WrestleMania week,
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. And it came out on April 1st, so like, is that an April Fool's joke type of thing? But no, MILF Manor coming back next weekend. They're promising an even bigger twist. I don't know how the fuck you get a bigger twist than you're in a house with all your kids, and the kids are trying to fuck these women, and the women are trying to fuck the kids. I don't know what the twist is bigger than that.
Oh my
I'm
god.
so excited.
So what was
for MILF
funny
Manor.
was we were in St. Louis. I was talking about this earlier. SP3 missed that whole conversation about the Canes sending my kids the signed hockey pucks. His last name is Fast. Isn't that a fantastic hockey name? Like,
Yeah.
you got to do something sporty if your last name's Fast. Someone said Fast is better than Swift in the comments, by the way.
See,
But
great job, guys. Great job, comment section.
but we stayed at a hotel because we stayed in St. Louis, and my kids were like, we want to watch something on TV afterwards. Well, they're not used to like TV. They're used to, let me turn on Netflix and turn on the show that I want to watch. And I won't connect my like Netflix and stuff to accounts in a hotel room because I always forget to disconnect them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll turn on, we'll find something to watch. And as I'm flipping through, MILF Manor is on. And I was like, why would this be on? Like, this has been over. Well, it was because they're airing all of the episodes in preparation for the new season.
Turn it up.
Pile Driver Finisher says plot twist, introduce some of the ex-husbands. Some of them did come back in the first MILF Manor. It's like, hey, when every reality show has the dating reality shows, like now you get to meet the parents type of thing. That's what they did on MILF Manor. Instead of meeting the parents because they are the parents, you would meet the ex-husband or the other kids. Or the other kids be like, yeah, by the way, here's my daughter. And then the sons are like, shit, the daughter looks good. Let me go after her instead of the mom. So
yeah, it's going to be like the moms
and the
dads
sons.
and the daughters and the sons. It's just all of them. Maybe it's
Temptation
grandma. Maybe it's gilfs. Maybe it's grandmas.
God,
I might draw the line there.
That's where you draw the line.
That's where he draws the line. Okay, we found out today.
Well, at least we figured out he has a line.
I mean, I'll watch it, but I won't be happy about it. Okay, gotta watch it for the sports, I guess, of watching.
Need
Gilf
Cher's
Manor.
expert fashion opinion on the Lions uniforms. I haven't seen the Lions uniforms.
Well, real quickly, Louis says best FMC ever. I don't know what we're going to talk about on Tuesday. Actually, we'll have plenty of basketball. I'll be super depressed if
we got to talk about the challenge too.
Well, we're going to talk about the challenge. We're going to do that on this show, not on FMC.
Are you talking about the black with
It's like black with blue trim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I don't really have a ton of thoughts about it. I don't see that it's any different than having white with blue trim. So it's not going to be as dirty. I can tell you that. As a parent of sporty kids, I do not buy white pants for when we play. Like, you get black because grass stains happen so quickly. So, I mean, I think it's fine. I like black though, so that, whatever. I don't like the Lions. Those are the alternates. Okay. Does MILF Manor involve people getting stuck in dryers? What?
I don't think so.
I'm confused.
I think he's got the wrong show. Oh, I did watch. Well, this was clips because I haven't watched the new season. But YouTube came across the video of Ron and Sam from Jersey Shore in the same room after a decade. Oh my God! It is one of the most awkward reality show scenes I've ever seen.
Oh, I gotta watch
Ron
that.
comes in and he hugs Snooki. Oh yeah, good to see you. He hugs Angelina. Oh yeah, good to see you. He hugs J-Walk. Oh yeah, good to see you. Hey, that's it. That was it. He said hey, and she didn't even say hey back. He said hey,
I mean,
and sat across the room from her.
that sounds about right.
I think. So I was watching a reel on Facebook the other day where they were asking all of the other cast members, like, describe Ron and Sam seeing each other again. And they're all like, awkward, uncomfortable, like tension filled, like all of them are saying the same thing. And people in the comments are like, okay, when are we ever actually going to see it? Like, this is ridiculous. It's been this whole season. Like, that's all anybody cares about. When are we actually going to see it? And they're like, no, he's going to walk in the room at the end of an episode and then they'll leave us on a cliffhanger and we won't see it until the next week.
Oh man, it's too funny. And then then I saw another clip where they're doing like a chicken, like a hot wing challenge. And like everybody's having a good time there, and Ron and Sam are like sitting at the same table, but Ron's on like this side, she's all the way at the other end, and Vinny just starts making like inappropriate jokes, and he mentions the note, and oh my god, Sam just is like, it's not funny. It's not funny, Vinny. It's not fun. Like, she is just so bothered. Even 15 years later, she is still so bothered by any reference of the note.
She's got to let it go, right?
She really does.
Yo,
Like,
I mean, but it's like, I understand their relationship was toxic, but the way she acted in those two clips that I saw, I was just like, it feels like Sam still has feelings for Ron. Like, I know we all know Ron has feelings for Sam still, but at least he's like acting very reserved. The way she's acting and how uncomfortable she is whenever he's in the room, it's like unresolved issues, or at least they have to talk. They have to have a conversation.
I'd say that that's a lot of it, is like they need to talk and like water under the bridge kind of thing, like, okay, we need to put this behind us, because I'm sure there are a lot of unresolved feelings between the two of them. And like, they were young. They spent 90% of the relationship drunk. So
and
that's not helpful.
With a camera in their face.
With a camera in their face. So it's like, it's not even like, I've had toxic relationships and you have to have time to move past it. They don't even get time to move past it because people put it in their face all the time, and people, like, it's on the internet, it's everywhere all the time. So I think that that's definitely something that they need to have a conversation about. But I still think Ron's a terrible person now. So I don't know that that's going to be helpful.
Everybody caught up on the challenge, right? You guys both watch most recent episode? Okay, so I watched it last night before the Taylor Swift album came out. I was sad to see Tony leave. Tony time ended.
My clock stopped. It'll stop being Tony. It's sad when anyone has to leave that way. They have
he said it was something going on at home, something personal that he needed to take care of. Like, hopefully everything is okay on that front. He's gone through, when they did the profile piece on him, the tree falling on the house and like just completely destroying like, his home.
That's why it scared me when he said that. Like, I was like, oh no. But he did say at the end he's gonna be back, and spoiler alert for anyone who didn't want to know, but they have announced it already pretty much. Tony is on season 40, so at least we get to see him again.
I do think, like, I always worry that when he says things like that, it's going to be about, because he has the daughter. He has the ones, Taylor? No, Taylor's the one that's with Corey. I can't remember what his girlfriend, I don't think they're married, but I can't remember what her name is. Yes. Alyssa. But he has the other daughter because he had those two girls that were pregnant at the same time, her and the other one. And the other one is all strung out on drugs. And he has been fighting with her parents for custody of their daughter for years now. Wow. And they just like don't want to even share custody. They just don't want him in their life at all. which I think is very toxic because like she's already lost one parent, so that's not helpful. And if he's like, okay, we'll just share custody like I would with her mom, then do that. Like what? Having more, it's not like he still acts like he did before. Like he's settled down, he has a family. I don't understand. It's very strange, but I'm always worried whenever he talks about like stuff at home that it's always something. I mean, that's why he wasn't on there for so long, was because of all that stuff. So I'm always worried that it's going to be something to do with that, because like that little girl has been through so much, and her mom, like I guess she signed her rights over. She's just not around at all now. So I'm like, that poor kid. And I mean, those girls are getting older now. They're probably like 6 or 7.
That sucks.
Frantic asking, I didn't watch the new episode. What is up with Ayana? Well, if you don't want to be spoiled, you will find out what's up with Ayana. But Tony leaves. Cyrus comes in. So Cyrus has joined the cast. And for this challenge, it is
Poor
big old
Cyrus.
game of what?
Poor Cyrus.
Yeah.
he knew what was up. He knew he was getting thrown in.
For this challenge, it was they played it in teams, and it was a big old game of dominoes. I love Jasmine of like, look, if you didn't know how to play dominoes, you better get in the kitchen. You better just sit at the table. Don't bother anybody. Like, this is what I grew up on.
Shout out to Jasmine because she is absolutely right. Dominoes and spades. If you from a black family, Jasmine was speaking to y'all because you had to know those two things. Once you at a certain age, you can't even go at a family function into a certain room if you can't play one of those two games.
Well, and then the funny part of all this, and they mentioned is like, damn, all the black guys were in the bottom for dominoes.
Khalifa said, I ain't never going to be able to get over this. He's like, all the brothers, me, Leroy, Cyrus, all in the bottom. I was like, yo, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves because I don't think any of them did the right thing to do. You start from the inside and then go out. Like, that's how you work in dominoes. Like, what were you doing?
Oh, they're all at the bottom. I did love Jasmine's commentary, though, on it. Spades. I saw our pal Cam Hawkins talking about spades, and he said he didn't know. He said he didn't know how to play. And I was like, what?
What?
Yeah, I don't know if he was just, like, joking or not,
I was
though.
thinking
You know how Cam
he said something about, like, they never taught him when he was a kid, and so he never he said he's too embarrassed to try to learn as an adult now because he learned as a kid.
I learned in my 20s actually because my friend's family, because I used to hang out with one of my best friends and his family used to always like drink and play spades, and I would always be on like the sideline not playing. They'd be like, nah, we're gonna teach you how to play. And he was like, if I messed up, I had to take a shot. It was like you're gonna learn fast. So
this is intense space.
It was intense, but I learned.
I have no idea how to play dominoes. I will play.
You don't know how to play
spades.
dominoes either?
No, I don't know how to play dominoes, but I will play spades until I can't play anymore. I absolutely love spades. I have like no mobile games on my phone. Spades is like one mobile game that I actually have on my phone. I love playing spades.
I love spades.
So, they play dominoes, and the whitest people on the show win as Adam and Avery.
Yo, Avery got a nice little tan on her. So.
Fair.
And Brandon, shout out to Brandon for being in the middle group.
Yeah,
Brandon representing the brothers.
He at least got
at least one. At least we got one brother in the middle group. Sheesh.
So Adam and Avery win. It's a double elimination for this week, and Ayana has. I don't know how to play dominoes. Period. So I've definitely not played for money. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna just get my money taken when I have no idea how to play in the first place. But Ayana said during the challenge, like,
right after they announced who won and who lost. Yeah.
She was like, we gotta split up Cam and Leroy.
Okay, in her defense, she did not say that. She said, and I quote, a lot of people want to separate that Cam and Leroy alliance. Kind of having, I know what you're saying, that's what she meant, and I did take it as that as well, but let's not misword exactly what she said, because they literally played it multiple times and showed us what she was saying exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people want to do it as in her. Nobody else wanted to split up Cam and Leroy.
Exactly.
Nobody is
but
dumb
it's
enough.
Funny, but it's funny is that when people came back at her and said, a lot of people said you said that. Who's the people? Who's the people? But no one else saw. Who's the people?
She did try to call everybody out. Like, all right, who said it then? Who did? But then you know how it goes. Like, if you act that dramatic and act that theatric, it's like you're putting the guilt on yourself immediately with that. So
a hit dog will holler.
She said a lot of people wanted to split them. No one actually is dumb enough to think you're going to split Cam and Leroy. Like, no one is that stupid. She gets called out by Cam.
I will say, no preference, I'll let you continue, but I was not on Cam's side after this point. This whole thing with Ayanna, I'm definitely on Cam's side. But how Cam reacted to it and how she was playing the game afterwards, I don't agree with.
The deliberation portion where she was like, I would appreciate if everybody sends down Ayanna and Rachel. Like, I would appreciate that. And then she not bullied a little bit, but a little manipulation, a little bit bullying of like, this is what I want. And then people are like, I respect you, Cam. This is what I want to do. And she's like, thank you. I appreciate that. And then Cara is like, nope, not gonna vote for Rachel. Told her wasn't gonna vote for her, gonna protect stars out here. So sorry, not gonna do that. And ended up voting for Flora, and Cam wasn't too thrilled with that.
Yo, like that whole thing was just weird to me, because that feels like Cam very much putting emotion into the game and not realizing that Cara is playing the game correctly without any emotion and just protecting herself and her stars. And because of her decision, that is why her star did not get stolen after the elimination. And then Cam was questioning that. Saying, oh, why you didn't take? Oh, Cara's an important person. So it's one of the best competitors. Why you ain't take her star? Duh, dummy. It was because she did that. Like, it was just like, yo, I've never been like this with Cam. I'm always on Cam's side. I'm like the biggest Cam fan. I picked her on my team. I was like, what is going on? Because I was like, I am so turned off of how she's playing this game ever since the Ayanna thing.
It feels like she's trying to play it like how she plays the normal game with rookies, where she can move them around more. And like, Cam has a great social game, but on here, like, it's not going to work. This is not the same thing. And I agree fully.
I'm gonna give Cam the benefit of the doubt. She's still nursing, and
we gotta talk about what she's going through. She's pumping on the challenge.
I'm gonna say she just has.
That's insane, yo.
Here's a hot take for everybody. I've never been pregnant. I imagine your mind gets a little messed up after being pregnant, and you're not always thinking correctly.
I imagine.
Can you confirm this, Cher Delaware?
Hormones play a big part in a lot of what's going on. Pumping, no, just no. I nursed both of my kids for about 3 years combined between the two of them. I literally, for like 5 years straight, I either was pregnant or had a kid attached to me. As literally the month after I stopped nursing my oldest, I got pregnant with my youngest. Like, I mean, it's a lot. It's taxing. It's hard on your body. I would just be a bitch to everybody if I was pumping while I was on there, because I just refused. I always laughed because I had a friend that exclusively pumped. Her kid wouldn't latch, and she pumped for a year. And I was always like, you are a stronger bitch than I am, because I'd have been like, let's get some formula, because I was not doing that. I did not pump with either of my kids. They never took a bottle. Not for me. It's not for me. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. like you're sitting there pumping, but like she doesn't have her baby there, but like you're sitting there pumping, but then you also got to feed your kid after. That's your whole day. You're literally just attached to a pump or feeding a kid all day long. So good for her. I hope she wins it all just because she's doing that. Like,
seriously, that made me want to root for her. And then it was just like, damn, but I don't like how you treated Kara right now. Maybe it's because we're closer to Kara now. I don't know. Maybe it's that also. I did think about that. I was like, maybe it's my Kara bias that's getting
we do
to
have
me.
a little bit of a
I was like, I definitely do. But I was like, I understood the game moves though. I like really understood the game moves and why she couldn't vote for Rachel. And at the end of the day, you got what you wanted.
Yeah.
So what was the what was it even to throw any type of like anger or disappointment at Kara and make Kara feel a certain way? Because Kara had dread all written on her face when Cam said that. Like, I'd really appreciate it. Kara just looked at forward like I know I can't make my friend happy because that goes against my game.
Yeah, Cam wasn't pleased with Kara, and Kara was, look, credit to her for sticking to it and not just being like, yeah, sure, Rachel. Her in the end, like her vote didn't really matter, and in the end, it saved her because Rachel did face Ayanna. Basically you're in this giant tube, and there's this big ball in the middle of it, and you try to push the ball out on the other side.
It's like what is it?
Hall brawl? Yeah.
With a big ball.
Yeah, it's a little similar.
And spinning.
Yeah. So, and Rachel ended up beating Ayanna, which I think we all kind of expected. And when Rachel got the chance
Ayanna made it competitive first round. She pushed her. She was using that strength a little bit there. But man,
Rachel knew what she was doing, though, of just like, I'm just going to hold ground. She's going to tie her out, and then I will easily just push it past her.
Yeah. But the MVP of this elimination, Khalifa, in his first elimination at 49 years old. Man, he looked like a monster in there.
Khalifa went up against Cyrus. Cyrus came in. It was very funny. They're like, oh, coming in halfway through the game. Like, we are on episode 3. Like, what is this halfway through the game? There's been 2 people eliminated, and one of them there's been 3 people eliminated. 2 of them just went home on their own volition. There's only been 1 actual elimination. We are not halfway through this game. Like, oh, Cyrus understands the game. He's coming in halfway through. It's like everybody's been here working hard. It's like, y'all have done 2 dailies and 1 actual elimination. Nobody's actually earned this spot here. Come on now. But Cyrus understood. He's like, nah, I know. I'm still new. I'm still gonna have to go in. And he went in and he'd faced Khalifa and lost. That was a very good elimination.
It was because Cyrus he got in that spot towards the end of his haul, and he got comfortable. Khalifa was just pushing and Cyrus was just holding it right there for a while. So it became a little fun. But man, Khalifa impressed me. He did impress me with how much intensity and how much emotion he had, especially after that first one he won. And he just, I was like, oh, I didn't even know. I thought you was mad calm. I thought you would have calmed. Oh, okay.
Khalifa won. He took Brad's star, which feels like a smart move. And Rachel won, and she could not take
Avery's.
She had
Avery
one of her
have
own already. Yeah, so she could only take Kara or Tina or Steve. She could have taken Steve's. But none of them, Steve protected her, Kara protected her, Tina's her best friend. And she was just like, I'm going to take Tina's, which I think was the correct game move overall.
It was.
As well. And like Tina did like, no, I worked so hard for this star. It's like, I think everyone understood, like, you got handed that star and I'm giving it to Veronica anyway. So it's just like, all right, let me take it. Tina seemed to be a good sport about it. You don't want it. There's no reason to upset Kara, who protected you. There's no reason to upset Steve, who protected you. Tina's going to understand it. Cam is, of course, like, oh, you took it from Tina instead of Kara? Like, I can't believe you did that. What does that say about you? It says she's playing the game correctly. That's what
it says she's playing the game correctly, because the big one is, why would you want all the stars on your alliance? right now after like two, like you said, 2 eliminations.
Yeah, there's a lot of games
daily.
to go.
There's too much game for you. You already have a target because it's the 3 of y'all. Don't make the target bigger by putting all the stars on y'all. That was the perfect game move. Just throw it to the other person in your alliance. Keep her safe. We'll find another way to get her a star.
100%.
I feel like you should be allowed. If you go down there and win, you should be allowed to have 2 stars. And then if you get like just all the stars, you're running that final by yourself.
I'm done.
Like,
No, I can't.
I mean,
Just
if they're gonna keep making you go down there, then yeah, like I should just be able to hoard them.
yeah,
Like,
rack up stars.
Hoarding stars.
Yeah, I would like to
Yeah.
see if like somebody who has a star just wants to go down there and decides like, oh, I'm gonna get like a second star here, and then I'm 1, double protected. 2, I'm also potentially, eliminating somebody from the final. Just keep putting yourself down there, keep knocking off people, keep taking stars. One person has all the stars at the end, they win. They just win the whole no final. They just win the whole thing.
It would make more sense if the person hoarding stars gets to choose the other people in the final, who they're giving the stars to at the end.
No, but you're eliminating people. Then it's still you're gonna be going up against.
So you're just
tough
we're
people.
just gonna have a whole season that ends in elimination.
I mean, if
somebody
you that
wins
bad,
enough
yes.
eliminations,
You guys
somebody
don't
needs
know.
to
You
beat
guys,
them in the
you guys are
elimination.
you're not for the entertainment.
I just whooped your
That
ass
is
for 12
entertaining.
episodes.
That is
That's
not
the
entertaining. I want to see a damn final.
But then you might get strong competitors in the elimination though, because if somebody has 3 stars, it's like, yeah, I'll go after him because even if he loses, he's still got a star.
You're not selling me on this.
Let it play out. Let's put it in practice and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Why am I being attacked for presenting new ideas?
I'm not attacking you. I just said you're not selling me on it.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I got Cher Delaware support.
I'm sure you do.
I love chaos, so
yeah.
I would be all about Kara having like 10 stars.
Yeah.
I'm all for that too. I'm a Kara fan. So
See, that's all we need to do to sell you on is like, what if Kara gets all of them?
yeah, that's probably the best way. Say, what if Kara gets all of them? Or
And
what
you're
if
like, yeah, let's
Leroy?
do it.
What if
Let's try it
Leroy gets all of them? I'll be like, yeah, you got me. Sure. CT gets all of them. All right. Wes gets all of them. Okay, cool.
Frantic asking when will CT pop up on the All-Star show? No idea. I don't know.
He's still running game on the regular
Yeah.
program. So
Yeah.
like why would he do that? And
I think
I
most of
watched
the
the
people that-
whole season 2 of Traders. I did watch
most of the people that do All Stars is because like they have a career that they can't leave, and All Stars is a lot shorter. His career is getting paid to be on the main show. Like he makes bank being on there. So that's him and Bananas. Like, no, they're not going to be on there anytime soon.
They probably made bank on Traders though.
Yeah,
Traders,
that's
man.
true.
I gotta
They made
watch
it.
this. You told me to watch this. I gotta. So it's 2 seasons, Traders.
Yeah, I'm actually watching season 1 right now. I watched it in reverse because season 2 got me. I was like, CT's here, Bananas here,
Season 2
Trichelle's here. I was like,
Okay.
oh, y'all got me. I'm in. Season 1, that was a good thing that I did watch season 2 because season 1 has less people that I know, but because I know the game now, I wanted to watch it, and I'm actually into it. I like the gameplay a little bit more in season 1 than season 2 because you could see how season 2 was influenced by season 1. But they got Paulie's brother Cody on season 1, and I was like, all right, that's at least one person I'm familiar with.
Isn't Kate from Below Deck?
Yeah, she's in both seasons.
Oh,
she's amazing.
fantastic.
I think she's one of the best new reality stars out there because
she's not new.
2,
she's not new.
Well, I mean, current going on like right now. Active. All right, active. Is that about?
I'm about to say because
Active.
I've been watching Below Deck for years, and she's like the head stew on Below Deck. I don't think she does Below Deck anymore, but she's an amazing.
So I've never
amazing
seen
character.
Below Deck. I've never seen it, but Emilio used to talk about it all the time, and he would be like telling me all this shit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you watching?
It's very underrated. Like it's very underrated in like the drama and shit
Yeah.
that goes on, because they're in a, enclosed area. They're just on a super yacht. So it's very tight quarters that they're all working together. It's very high pressure, high stress, because all their money depends on like how they treat the guests. The guests are these just like rich assholes. Some of them are assholes. Some of them, are nice, but like it's just these rich people with these absurd demands and everything. Oh, it's a very underrated. I don't know if it like actually is underrated, but we don't talk about it a lot. It's really, really good.
Because she came in on season 2 of Traders like midway through, and it was like the big reveal. Like he had said at the beginning of the season, he was like, "Oh, we have a special guest that's going to be coming to the mansion," and she comes in like middle of the season, and they had like established that she was on the first season. So I'm watching the first season, I'm like, oh, now I see why she came back for the second one, because she's the star of that first season. Like everything centered around her. She's like causing a lot of the drama in the house. So yeah, I like her. And now she has a kid. That's why she came late into season 2. She just had her first child.
She's so good. She's an amazing reality television character. We have a special guest, so we're gonna try something here. I got the other StreamYard pulled up, SV3. I don't know if you have it pulled up. So this show, we talked no wrestling on this show. I accomplished my goal of no wrestling talk.
You did.
On an alleged wrestling podcast. We talked about the Taylor Swift album. We talked about the challenge. We talked about just general reality and 90s television. Hockey.
All that. Yeah.
How are you? How are you feeling about the Lakers, SP3? Good? Feel okay?
We're gonna be all right.
Okay.
We're gonna be all right. It's gonna be fun.
We got a guest. We're gonna welcome him now. You know him from Post Wrestling. You know him previously from this website. You know him from a lot of things. You know him as the fucking GOAT on this show. My man, Andrew Thompson. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, y'all? SP3.
Good brother.
My dog in the, I don't know. Sir, I haven't seen you since the wedding. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. You look great. Everybody looks great. What's going on, Jeremy? How you feeling, man?
I'm doing well. I've talked no wrestling today. I feel very great that I've talked no wrestling today. I don't want to talk any wrestling.
Let's keep up the thing. Let's keep up the thing.
Yeah, but so you guys are about to talk wrestling over on True Heel Heat. So everyone knows SP3 from True Heel Heat. Do you want to like? You can put it in the chat, SP3, if you want. Drop the link in the chat. All right,
let's see if I can do this. I have multiple tabs up now. this may be dangerous for me.
How my
Wi-Fi works in the Bronx. I mean, I'm just saying.
I just did a whole show with no power. Okay.
we're going to simulcast from here to True Heel Heat so Andrew and SP3.
I think JJ did it. Put in the
chat. All right.
My goodness, the production. Oh my goodness, look at this.
As I said, we're trying to win Emmys. WWE's getting all this credit for their one shots and everything. Nah, we got it. We're
gonna do one stream last shot.
That's right.
I put the link for you, Andrew, in the private chat again. So you could just smoothly click on me. I see me and Jeremy are backstage over on True Heel Heat already. So this is gonna be amazing, ladies and gentlemen.
This is so professional, man. Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know if we could do it, but I was just like, maybe we can pull this off, and apparently we can. Andrew, have you been watching?
Sure, you got to click on the link too. You got to, even though you're not going to talk, you're going to be live at the event, so you can be on the first couple of minutes at least. I forgot she's doing it from like an iPad.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Cher can pull this off. This might not work for her.
She ahead of time in the stream. so like when she over there, me and SP3 already talking about Dynasty. So she got a couple minutes of his talk.
Okay.
Cher's in there.
Okay.
Just need Andrew in there, and then we're perfect.
Okay, so you got to start. You got to start that stream.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm gonna end this stream while that stream is going. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the regular intro so you can do your outro. So I'll start the stream when it's supposed to start, and then I'll just run little bumpers until you end this stream, and then we'll
No.
on the screen over there.
We're all gonna.
Oh, you want it to be on at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
That's how this is gonna work.
All right, fair enough. Andrew's not here though.
That is like I'm on my what's the name, my phone right now because I don't know if my
see?
laptop.
Oh.
See.
Okay. All right. So just me and you will appear on the True Heel stream, SP3. Okay.
I'm muting you on the True Heel because I'm here to.
Oh yeah, I hear the
now.
echo. Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
I have no idea how this is gonna work, but
It's gonna work. I think it's
figure
gonna
it
work.
out. We're gonna figure it out.
We deserve an Emmy. It's a one shot.
We do. Okay, so you can't hear me though. I'm muted right now.
Yeah.
You can hear me on this stream.
Yeah, I can hear you on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Are you starting the True Heel?
Let me get this up here.
Should I go now?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
You could pop up whenever we're done here, I guess.
All right, cool.
I don't know. This is very confusing, but hey, I'm going with the flow, folks. So you want me to start it now?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. I'm gonna do a regular intro bumper though,
Okay.
because that's how we do it over there. See, it's saying StreamYard saying you are not scheduled to start until 12:05 p.m. Eastern time, but you're welcome to start early. Thank
I mean,
you,
we
StreamYard.
were early. We were late on this show, so it makes sense that you'd be early on that show.
That's true. All right. I'm gonna throw up top dollar to welcome us to a new episode of True Heel
He's a
Heat.
coward. He won't rap battle.
Hold on, what's happening right now? Oh, they
So
playing it. Okay.
So yeah, there's the intro playing in my ear right now. This is chaotic.
Jeremy, we should obnoxiously talk about SEB trying to do it. Just like say a bunch of random ass words, like trying to focus.
Well,
I know,
I'm muted on the True Heel stream, but all I see on the True Heel stream is still the graphic with the. Oh, okay. Now the intro is or the countdown is playing. Andrew, have you listened to the new Taylor Swift album?
Oh,
I have not.
Wow.
Is it good?
It's very good. It's 31 songs. It's long, so it takes a little
Jesus
while.
fucking Christ, what the- 31 songs.
Man, she has a lot of feelings, okay? There's a lot of feelings going on.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live right now on the True Heel Heat and Fightful Overbook YouTube channels because we are better than Lee Fitting for a special AEW Dynasty preview. I am joined by my esteemed panel of co-hosts here. First up, we have the co-host of In the Weeds, Jeremy Lambert. How are you doing?
I'm
muted.
I'm muted. Yes, I'm okay. Okay. I'm well. I'm doing well. I'm not an actual guest on this. Neither is, I don't think, Cher Delaware, but we're here. And now I'm going to close out. If you're also on Overbooked, where this is streaming, I'm going to close out Overbooked and say everyone should watch Coexisting with Rob and Maggie at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on this channel on Fightful Overbooked. There's also Wrestling Made Me Cry on Sunday on Fightful Overbooked. If you want actual wrestling talk, because we just did a 2-hour show on Overbooked talking no wrestling, I lived up to my promise. I do not half-ass any bits. 100% committed to every single bit that I do. No wrestling talk today on In the Weeds. Joel will be back on Monday. Maybe we will talk about wrestling on Monday. We appreciate everybody for sticking around on this show today with myself and Cher and SP3 as we did not talk any wrestling. Thank you guys. Thank you to Andrew Thompson who popped in here late. Thank you to Cher Delaware. Thank you all week to SP3 who was here all week as Joel was taking care of personal matters. That's it for In the Weeds. SP3, go ahead and plug the show that we're on now.
Oh my God, I only hear you on one of these. Nice. I only hear you on one of these now. This is nice. All right. And also we have with us a person who will be live at AEW Dynasty. Cher Delaware is here. Oh, talented. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, I'm gonna end the other show now. SP3, thank you. SP3, thank you again for doing the In the Weeds all week. I know today was a different kind of show that we did. I hope everybody is watching. If you're ending here on Overbooked, head over to True Heel Heat and watch SP3 and Andrew Thompson talk AEW Dynasty. I'm done with wrestling for now. It's playoff season. That's way more important. It's Taylor Swift season. That's way more important. We'll catch y'all on Monday, everybody, on In the Weeds.
Yes, the Rock.